Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I know a lot of you are like, where have you been? It's been forever since I've done a YouTube video. Many people have asked, am I going to do YouTube videos anymore? What happened? So I've decided to come back and offer some more YouTube videos. My goal is to try to do 2 a month, so hopefully I'll be able to meet that goal. What happened? Nothing really in particular. It's just with me working full time, being busy with a lot of activities, having a lot of company, having a new puppy. Things just got pretty busy, pretty hectic. So I kind of just broke away from the YouTubing for a while. But again, I'm really going to try to do better. I have seen some new subscribers. So for those of you that are new, welcome to my channel. There's always new people finding out about the villages, trying to find out as much as possible. So that's the purpose of my channel, is just to share with you my experience of living in the villages. It might be different from other people's experience. That doesn't mean I'm right and they're wrong, or vice versa. Everybody has different experiences. So what I will be sharing with you is from my own experiences. My videos are pretty raw, so I don't use editing, a lot of editing. I don't use fancy cameras. I record with just my iPhone. So if you're looking for some fancy editing YouTubers, then you're probably not going to enjoy my channel, because I don't do a lot of fancy editing or cameras, so it's just pretty raw material. But I think that especially if you're either new to the villages or you're thinking about moving to the villages, I could offer some pretty interesting facts or just a good perspective on living in the villages. So again, I just kind of got away from doing the videos because I got so busy, but stay tuned, because I really am going to try to start to release some more content. So what today I thought I would talk about is 2 things. One thing I'm going to talk about is just that very thing. What happens to YouTubers? Why do they suddenly just disappear and stop making YouTube videos? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and particularly about the village YouTubers. And then the other thing I'm going to talk about is, it has been a little over 15 months now since we've moved to the villages. So, do I still feel the same? Did I make a mistake? Do I still like it here? I want to share that with you. So I thought I would share with you the great, the good, and the not so good. I don't really have bads, but I do have some not so goods. So I thought I would share those with you. So first, I just want to start with what happens to YouTubers? Why do they suddenly just disappear? I know that can be a little discouraging, especially when you find someone that you really enjoy following. It happened to me with a couple YouTubers that I used to follow. One was right before I moved here. I followed a couple, and Exploring the Villages was the name of their channel, and his name was Dave. Loved his videos. He did such informative videos. He offered drone footage. He would do golf cart rides where he would show you like how long it took to get from point A to point B. And then all of a sudden their videos just stopped. And he said what happened was, because he was also still working full time, and he got a job promotion. So that kept him busy. It kept him from being able to take the time to keep creating YouTube videos. That's the number one reason right there, I believe, is, a lot of people, it takes time to make a YouTube channel. It takes time to decide, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to show? That takes time. It takes a little bit of time to do the video. If you're going to do some editing, that takes time. So I think a lot of people just get really busy and then they just kind of break away from doing the videos. So that's the number one reason. And the other reason, and I'll talk about another couple YouTubers I used to follow that just recently announced we're not doing any more videos. And that was the Villages 365. They were two women that have lived in the Villages for quite a while and did a lot of videos, a lot of Q&A videos. But what happened to them, I believe, they didn't really say why they were stopping, but they did say they were going to stop. But I think it's because I know that in the beginning there was not a whole lot of YouTubers, just a couple. But now, if you want to look for YouTubers in the Villages, there's a plethora of YouTube videos. I mean, there's tons of them. So I think that some people feel like, there's enough YouTubers out there, or there's enough content out there so you can get your information from other places. So I feel like that's another reason why YouTubers just suddenly stop making their videos. And there is a lot of YouTubers out there on the Villages now. The Villages is huge. We have now reached over 151,000 residents. So there's plenty that do YouTube videos. And they're all different. So you just kind of need to find the ones that you connect with, the ones that you enjoy watching, and just pick the ones that you enjoy and then follow them. So that's my little tidbit on why I think some YouTubers just suddenly stop making videos. Now let's move on to the great, the good, and the not so good. So it has been a little over 15 months now. Do I still love it? Yes, I love it very much. I feel like I made the right decision. I don't have any regrets. I've shared this in other videos. It is hard to be away from family and friends, but I feel like I made the right decision. I don't have any regrets whatsoever. So let's talk about, and I do have notes here, so I hope okay, here we go. So I will share, I need to refer to my notes a little bit. We will start with the great things about living in the Villages. And some of them are not unique to the Villages. Some might be just unique to living in Florida. So the first one, weather. And stay tuned for weather because I also have that under the not so good category. But for good, the winters are beautiful. I believe today is February 3rd. It started off cool this morning. It started off in the 40s. Today we're supposed to reach a high of 73. I'm sitting on my lanai right now, short sleeves, the sun's shining. It's absolutely beautiful out. If I was back where I came from up north, I definitely wouldn't be sitting outside. So the weather is absolutely gorgeous. We have had a little cooler winter than we normally do, but for the most part, it's been beautiful. During the day, it usually warms up pretty nicely. No snow, no shoveling, no defrosting your windows, no driving on ice and snow. So weather for sure is definitely a great part about living here. The second thing I have on my list is friends and neighbors. I've met great friends, great neighbors. I have only been here a little over a year, and although I had a lot of friends back home, I have more friends actually here than I even did back home. Good friends. Neighbors back home where you live, at least where I lived, you kind of knew the neighbors on each side of you and then maybe across the street, but that was about it. You really didn't know anybody else on your neighborhood. People are busy, they're working, they're living their lives. They just don't get out and meet their neighbors. Not so much here, at least not in the village that I live in, the village of Richmond. I've met several neighbors, not just, my neighboring neighbors, but, down the street, other streets in our village, multiple neighbors that I've met. So just being able to meet so many friends and neighbors, and you're all kind of in the same boat, right? You all moved here. You probably didn't know anybody, or if you did, you didn't know a ton of people. So you're kind of all in the same boat, and it's so easy to meet people and then find your niche of, the type of people that you really connect with. So that's definitely on the great list. Activities and entertainment. This is definitely on the great list. As far as activities, there is so much to do here. A lot of outdoor activities. So your golf, all the executive golf is free here. So you've got golf, you've got multiple swimming pools, you've got fitness classes, you've got arts classes, you've got games, cards, all kinds of little social clubs, different types of social clubs. There's one for working women. There's one for Jimmy Buffett fans. There's one for just about each state has their own little club. So there's multiple clubs that you can get involved in here. Indoor activities. There's billiards. There's the table shuffleboard, there's darts, there's video games. So there's multiple things that you can do indoors, along with all the outside things there are to do here. So many activities. And along with activities, I would like to add the entertainment. So live music, 365 days a year, weather permitting, and that's multiple places. That's 3 town squares, that's Sawgrass Market, that's lots of restaurants. So there's plenty of place to see live music. Even outside the villages, there's a place called Orange Blossom Opry, and they have a lot of country entertainment there also, where you can go and see music. They have tons of plays, musicals. Those are pretty high, high standard plays and videos, like what you would see on Broadway. We have those right here in the villages. So there's no shortage or no lack of being able to see, the arts, the performing arts, without having to traveling all the way to Orlando or Tampa to see those. Just outside of the villages, not far at all, I believe it was like a 15-minute drive. Just recently, I went to a rodeo. So that was a lot of fun. So even if it's not within the villages, directly outside of the villages, if you're a boater and enjoy boating, there's lots of lakes around here where you can also do that. So that's what's under my great: weather, friends, neighbors, and activities and entertainment. Now let's move on to the good. The good, I would have to say, is having a lot of company, a lot of family and friends that have somewhere really fun that they actually enjoy coming to. So I know my grandkids love it here, my kids enjoy it here, my friends enjoy it here. So it's just a really cool place that people, they use it as their vacation. They love to come here and visit with you. And living here, you become a tour guide. You get to show people around the villages. So that would be a good. Another good is living so close to so many things to do within Florida. So this isn't necessarily the villages, but there's a lot of things within Florida to do that you're close to. We are an hour from Orlando. We are an hour and a half from Tampa. We're 4 hours from Miami. So you can get to most of Florida within just a few hours. So if you want to go on a cruise, we're close to cruise ports. So you don't have to fly to go on a cruise. You can drive directly to the cruise port. There's beaches within a couple hours. There's multiple theme parks, Disney and SeaWorld and Universal Studios. So there's multiple theme parks. And if you do enjoy big cities, we're close enough to go to those. So if you want to drive to Orlando or Tampa, we're, like I said, an hour and a half away from those big cities. So that would be a good. The other thing I have under my good is nature. So you'll see things here that you don't see other places. A lot of unique birds that are just beautiful. The sandhill cranes, I absolutely love those birds. They're the big, tall birds, and they make the strangest noise, but I love seeing them. They're just so pretty. Manatees. If you want to go swim with the manatees, you don't have to go very far to do that. An hour and a half away maybe. Lots and lots and lots of walking trails here within the villages. So if you like to be out in nature and get out and do your walks, there's absolutely no shortage of that here in the villages. And just the surrounding area. There's multiple parks that you can visit within the villages. So, for a recap, under good, I have the company, the visitors, the being close to so many things within Central Florida, and then the nature. Now let's move on to not so good. I don't have these under bad because I don't necessarily think they are bad. I just think they're not so good. And the one thing under that would be it does tend to get a little crowded between January and April, especially. It's harder to get into some of the popular classes, like the water aerobics classes, the cardio drumming classes. Some of those, it's a little bit harder to get into. You have to arrive sometimes very, very early, sometimes up to an hour before the class even starts, in order to get into those. Yes, that's because we do have snowbirds. But on that note, those snowbirds, they are paying the amenities fee every single month, just like we are. So it doesn't matter if they're only here 6 months or 4 months or 3 months. They're paying that amenity fee all year round. So, you can't blame them for they want to enjoy the amenities when they're here. Tea times is another one. It's a little harder to get tea times. Definitely not impossible, but you just might not get on the course you want or the time you want. If you want to do a 10 o'clock a.m. tea time, you might have to wait till 1 p.m. to get on. So you might not get the times that you would really like. And then the same thing with the restaurants, especially the restaurants within the villages. They tend to get a little crowded on the peak hours, but the way you get around that is that's a great time to go visit restaurants within the surrounding areas. So, hit your Orlando, hit your Claremont, your Leesburg, your Lady Lake, just kind of visit some of those restaurants outside of the villages. That's a great time to do that. And then some of their major events, so like their festivals, they'll have like a strawberry festival, a blueberry festival. They have a Mardi Gras. They have a light show. Those festivals tend to get very, very crowded to the point where you can't even find a place to park. So that would definitely be a not so good. I believe that once Eastport, which is the new square entertainment area that's coming in about a year, I believe that will alleviate some of that. But if you do want to attend a special event, you do need to get to the squares early to get a parking spot. So that might be a downside, a not so good. Weather. I know I had weather in the great, but I also have the weather in the not so good. And the reason for that is just it does get pretty hot in July and August. But you know what? It gets pretty hot in July and August throughout the entire country. So I don't see that it's a ton different. I know where I'm from up north, we just didn't go outside in July and August unless we were at the pool or at a lake. And it's kind of the same thing here. You just tend to pick your indoor activities in July and August. And then they do have pretty bad lightning storms here. Central Florida is kind of known for their big lightning storms. So that's a little not so good. And then we don't have basements like we do up north. So being in Central Florida, we are much, much safer from hurricanes. We don't board up. We don't evacuate. We don't really have to worry about that so much here. However, hurricanes can spawn tornadoes, which I'm used to them from being up north. But up north, we have basements. Here, we don't have basements. So to me, that would be a not so good. It's just, you know, your hot weather, your lightning storms, and you're nowhere real safe to go in the case of a tornado. And then another not so good, and this is really more for those people that, like me, that work full time. And I would say it's not having as many classes and activities to choose from for those of us that work during the day. A lot of the classes and activities are offered during the day, which I get it. I totally get it. It's a retirement community. It's for those that are retired. But there's a lot of us that live here now that do still work full time. So it kind of limits us to some of the activities that we're able to join and do because they are not offered in the evening, or at least not very many are offered in the evening. Why is that? It's because the classes and the activities are given by residents like myself on a volunteer basis. We don't get paid. We volunteer our time to do it. And a lot of people that work, you know, we're already busy 40 hours a week working full time, right? So in order to offer classes or activities, volunteer our time, that's additional time. So I understand why it would be, why there's not as many, because it is harder for working people to step up to the plate and volunteer to do that. The solution would be if some of the retired folks would be willing to offer some of their skills, their knowledges, offer some of those in the evenings for the working people. And the other solution is for those of us that work to offer our time. You know, it doesn't have to be that much time, one day a week. I do that. I do teach a class. I teach 2 classes back to back, one day a week. It does take time, not just the time during the class, but the time to set up and prepare for the class, for what you're going to be teaching. That being said, I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love the people that attend my classes. I became great friends with many of them. I enjoy it so much because they enjoy it, and that makes it all worthwhile. And then I'm going to add one more because that not so good was really for us people that work. So I wanted to add a not so good for everyone. And that would be prices. Now, I don't think that this is unique to just the villages, but I see the home prices just skyrocket. They just keep going up and up and up and up. You know, if you look back maybe 5 years ago, you could get a really nice home, a brand new home for in the 200,000s. And now you're looking at 400, 500,000 and up to get a brand new home. Again, I don't think that's really unique to the villages. I think it's all over. But that's kind of a downside is, the prices of homes. Your grocery store prices are still a little high, but again, I think that's everywhere, not just the villages. I will say that there are a lot of restaurants here that do offer specials. So, maybe on a Monday night you can get this special, or on a Friday night at this restaurant you can get this special. So you just need to kind of look for where to find those specials, and then that'll save a little bit of money anyway when you decide you want to, go out to eat, because a lot of people like to go out to eat a lot here. So again, it would be for the not so good, the weather, the prices, and the classes not being offered in the evening. Okay, so that is all I have today. Again, I promise to try to get at least 2 videos a month for you all. Please feel free to send me questions. I would like to do like a Q&A video where I answer your questions. They don't have to be just about the villages. They can be about the villages. They can be about Central Florida. They could be about me personally. So send those questions in, and sometime in the near future, I'll do a Q&A video and answer those questions. So once again, thank you so much for watching. And if you feel so inclined and you enjoy my video, feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye.